Welcome. I'm very proud to be here today and present our pitch for AllianzArena. We are a company doing analytics, and so the first question some of you could have, what the hell do you do with grass? And it's very easy. We already do a case like this for Golf Club Abenberg to improving the grass, and my colleague did it in a former company a lot of times, projects like this, just with other plants like grass. So what is the basic idea we have, or one of the two ideas we have? The one is we take a drone, fly over the grass with a special camera, with a multispectral camera, and this camera can see in the grass. So most sensors Bayern Munich uses now just measures the environment of the grass, but it does not know if it's ill. If you remember, for example, your mom told you when you was young that you will become ill when you did not feel it, and it's something like this. He can explain that a little bit more detail to you, and the technical background of this view.
Thank you, Jens. So I'm going to start with a quick bit of turf theory. So here on the bottom we see our green, and now we need some external factors like sunlight, the right temperature, precipitation, water, and cultivation like fertilizer and so on. And then the grass will stay green. And what is interesting is that we have our sunlight that goes that shines onto the grass, and photosynthesis absorbs light, so that a different light spectrum is reflected from the grass. And that means that we can build a delta from the input spectrum and the reflected spectrum of visible and invisible light waves. And that allows us to calculate a plant health index. So I'm going to show you how that works. Let's see, the plant health index is just fine. All the parameters are okay. Now let's say one day the sun doesn't shine as much as we need it in the arena. So our plant health index will turn the color because the reflected light will change. Let's say the next day we don't have enough water additionally to the missing light, so our plant health index will change again, and that means for the greenkeeper that he has to act, that he has to water the plants, and if he doesn't, the grass will get a disease or go yellow. So how do we plan to implement that at AllianzArena? As we have heard, there's already a MindSphere in place with a lot of sensors for light, for temperature, for humidity. And there's also some kind of automation already in place. So what we add is our drone with the multispectral camera to get us the footage that we need for the plant health index. And rainwater sensors to better understand the nutrient flow, and environmental sensors to understand the climate in the arena. All this data goes into the MindSphere wirelessly, and there we have our Trevisto MindSphere app that will calculate the plant health index to give us a more precise automation for the illumination, the fertilization, the mowing, and the irrigation. And we also have our Greenkeeper app for manual advice. So the Greenkeeper app will work based on the plant health index and give you an overview over all the Bayern München playgrounds, so that the Greenkeeper also can plan the next training camp in Qatar, for example, by just sending the drone there. And he has the possibility to drill down onto one playing field, and there he can use the plant health index again in the field for hotspots, so where he knows where he can see how to act. So that's good for the greenkeeper, but also his staff, they can use augmented reality to see in place what they could do. And as we have their automated equipment, we can use the app to control the equipment in real time. So what are your benefits of this first step right now? You will get continuous high quality on all the playgrounds. You will get input savings for fertilizer, water, and energy. You will get optimized maintenance due to the improved app for the greenkeeper. And AllianzArena can go more eco-friendly due to the saved inputs. And for our future vision, I will give back to Jens.
Yeah. What we had in the first step was what you can do more or less immediately. But if you want to make something like more predictions, something was missing. We need labeled data for it. And if we just start collecting data, we don't have it. Data results what happened if you do this or that. So if we mix the labeled data or make labeled data out of the historical data after running our system for 3 or 6 or 9 months, then we can use artificial intelligence, like, for example, reinforcement learning, to build or to gather more benefits. So we have an enhanced app who can do a lot of more stuff. And then we can do something like building a digital twin of AllianzArena, or and then we have the chance to make something like a prediction of diseases, like if these conditions are for that time in that area, the danger of something like snow mold or rust goes up. Further resource optimization is possible, and another thing, the climate into a stadium is different from outside. The grass grows different under the same conditions as far as we can measure. And with something like that, we can measure this, we can understand this, and perhaps get even there better results.
20 more seconds.
We are through now. We don't need it. We can perhaps use it to wish Bayern Munich on Tuesday the very, very best in Madrid.
All right, that's a nice closing sentence there. So, are you soccer fans?
Yeah, Bayern Munich, since I'm 6.
All right, all right. I guess that's a good prerequisite. So, what can we hear from the jury?
Okay, first of all, thank you for this great presentation. So FC Bayern is a hard topic for me as well. So it was hard to see the loss on Wednesday, but as you rightly said, they will manage on Tuesday next week. That's for sure.
Correct.
Okay,
Hopefully.
I have a couple of questions. So number one would be the drone that you showed. Did you develop that yourself? Is this something that you built?
No, it's a drone that you can buy on the market. So all the equipment is buyable. It exists already.
Okay. All right. And so you using the information from this drone and implement this into your application or into your analytic services. Okay.
Yeah.
So a second question would be, we built an own app for FC Bayern already. So now you showed a second app. What we don't want is basically a confusion between many apps now for the same greenkeeper team, right? How would you see this being either integrated into our application, or do you strive to promote your app over ours?
I think it's depending. You have to see, we don't know the app you have, we don't know how you can enhance it, or if it's easier just to build up the functionality. But you're absolutely right, it would be crazy to have two apps, and the one says 20 liters in that corner, and the other said, oh no, it's 30, and nobody knows what to do. So we have to have one app to control the grass.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the presentation. Very interesting. My question would be, do you record the footage via the drone the whole year, 24/7? And how do you extract data out of the video footage?
Okay, so we don't record video footage. We make photos, and that are then stitched in the MindSphere for a big picture. And we don't record it 24/7. We look at special cases, for example, before and after maintenance, like before mowing and after mowing, or before a game, after a game. So we try to identify the key influences on the grass, on the turf.
Okay, because due to DFL regulations, you can't not record footage on match days, so that's actually not an issue then. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just another question from my side. So I understood that there's also artificial intelligence built in. So help me understand how you would train that and how much data you would need for that in order to get correct results.
That's an interesting question. There's something we will have to learn too, because we don't know how much data sets and incidents we get, because for artificial intelligence you need incidents which shows the network that it's right or wrong, or this was good and this was bad. So this is something, I said, something between 3 and 9 months, because we actually can't see it, and we can improve it after a year, because there will be influence of winter and summer and stuff like that, because all the unnatural heating and something will have an influence on it. We still don't know. So it will get better and better, but I think between 3 and 6 months we will have the first improvements by the artificial intelligence.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much for, first of all, for the challenge. I mean, didn't know the importance of the green before, but also thank you very much for the really exciting presentation. I mean, I could tell that you're really expert on that topic. And I was wondering, you in the beginning, and that's to me also important, you mentioned a proof point, another project where you've got some experience from. Can you maybe just elaborate a little bit on how much was a performance increase, or how much was a greenkeeper from this other project or from this other stadium then able to keep the green better?
We don't have performance indicators yet. We started the project. We have first data from it, so we know that we can use the data. We know how to handle the data, which comes out of the drone, or we have a software after the drone who just interprets the pictures and give us something like a vector map with measures. And so we're in the proof of concept, and we are not finished yet. So we don't have results yet. But we know it works from projects before with other plans, that we really get a big impact on it by this, on the saving side and on the better growth side.
So first of all, thank you very much for your very insightful presentation. I'm personally no expert in drones, so maybe you can help me out here. I got a question, who has to operate a drone? Is it the greenkeeper who has to fly the drone? Is it automated?
It's automated.
It's automated.
Drone
okay.
automatically finds the right, like we set it up for the resolution that we need, and then it automatically flies in the right way.
Okay. Thank you. And I got another question. You have like this central key performance indicator, the plant health index, that tells you like overall how the quality of the pitch is. Based on this KPI, how can you derive what is missing? I mean, you see it's yellow, then it's bad. Yeah, I got this. But how do you give recommendations, for example, to the greenkeeper on how to improve the quality to get it to a better level?
Okay, so there we really have to learn a bit more about the green in the stadium. So we would do that together with the greenkeeper. We would need his advice and his experience to improve, and then our neural network can learn in the future about the combination of different factors and how they maybe get more experience than the greenkeeper on the combination of the factors, and give us a different advice, so that then we can discuss it with the greenkeeper.
The basic thing is that if water is missing, the spectral which is reflected is different from if fertilizer is missing. And by that you can see it, but you have to, depending on the grass, there's so much influences like the kind of grass and so on. So for a time you have to learn how this grass in this climate reacts on missing stuff.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. So I would have another question here. So I like the idea of this light and the different spectrum. That's really cool. How do you consider to integrate other information from weather forecasting services or French forecasting services, this kind of things? Is this on your agenda? And if so, which?
Yeah, we want to, for sure, use all sensors which are already there because they are very helpful to get a better result. And a weather forecast, for example, is very good, for example, to decide we don't put so much water on the grass because today it will rain very heavy and stuff like that. So all an environmental thing we want to use, it's water, it's temperature, it's wind and all the stuff, because it will all have influence on what happens in the stadium.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any further questions right now? So I think no. And with this, thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you to our first team, Trevisto, Jonas and Jens.